Hey, welcome back to So Strategic. Josh Delgado here, and I'm excited for this journey that we've been on. This is 30 days to building seven-figure mindsets. It's no small task, but I believe that you're up for the challenge. So thanks for showing up again. If you're tuning in for the first time, go back and watch the first couple of days. There's a lot that we need to make sure that you've laid right in your foundational approach so that you can actually be on the right trajectory to move forward in crossing that threshold that 91% of business owners never cross, and that's reaching $1 million in annual sales. So if that's you, if you're on that journey with me, then let's jump right into it. Today is all about building belief in your product and in your service. Okay. Now you might be thinking, didn't we talk about belief in past videos? Didn't we talk about the fact that, ultimately you have to believe in who you are, right? You got to believe that you're worthy. You got to believe that you actually have what it takes to step into that level of success. And I say, yeah, we did. But you also have to believe the same for your product offering, for your service offering, for whatever it is that you're doing to bring value into this world. You have to believe that it's truly good, that it's truly going to be impactful for the prospects that you're actually trying to sell those things to. And if you don't, and I'll preface it by saying this because there's always two sides to every coin, you can definitely make way more than $1 million not believing in a thing that you do. Okay, it happens all the time, especially in VC-backed, startups and stuff like that, where maybe it's just a really good founder who's kind of gotten behind a core of engineers or something that's then expanding it forward. They're just accelerating it. All that founder's doing is they're just accelerating it. They're taking in the VC money that's coming in, and basically they're just turning that into a revenue generation machine. Okay, that's not the majority of people. Most people aren't in a VC-backed venture that has tons and tons and tons of liquid cash reserves to just reinvest in their business. Most people are starting from ground zero. They're starting with their own money. They're starting with maybe a loan from, a friend or a family member or something to get them started, or some level of basic investment, right? That's the basis that we're talking about here. We're talking about the everyday American that's starting a business. Maybe you're not even in America. Maybe you're in a different country, but you're just the everyday person who's starting a business who wants to build a life for your family. All right. So you got to believe in what you're doing, because eventually adversity is going to strike. And I say this very candidly. I say this with a lot of honesty. You will face adversity in your business. It is not something that you can avoid. Market changes happen. Political environments and political landscapes can affect things. We've seen it over the past few years with interest rates. There's all kinds of things that can happen that can impact and influence your business, right? Inflationary, levels, all that kind of stuff. It's all going to have some kind of level of effect depending on what industry you're in. So what happens when that adversity strikes? Okay. And that really is dependent on how much do you believe in the thing that you're doing? How much do you believe in your business? How much do you believe in your mission? How much do you believe in your product and service, right? That's what it really boils down to. The product and service are really just a means to actually implement the vision of your company. So if you're trying to solve a problem in the world or a problem in a specific industry, your product and your service is the vehicle to do that, to accomplish that. And so ultimately, if you don't have that belief, what happens when that adversity strikes? That's when entrepreneurs hit the ground running. They say, I'm getting out of here. And I don't mean hit the ground running in a good way, like getting to work. I say that's when they hit the road, getting out of the business. And so that's what we want to avoid for you. We want to avoid you leaving whenever things get hard, because what happens to the years of time that you've invested in the things so far? Right? I don't want that to be you. You don't want that to be you. Your spouse doesn't want that to be you. Your mom and dad don't want that to be you, right? You want to be the person who can stick it out, who can become successful, who can actually step into a life that's greater than the life that you've lived up to this point. But stepping into that life requires you being honest with where you actually are right now. So, where is your product right now? Where is your service right now? Are you truly doing something that you care about, that you believe in, I'll say this, I'll backtrack that a little bit. Are you truly doing something that you believe is the best thing for your clients, for your prospects, for your customers? Because if it's not, eventually the money's going to run out. Eventually the jig's going to be up and people are going to realize that the thing's not as good as you maybe said it was. And so if you're an entrepreneur and you're having trouble getting past maybe 300, 500,000. Start to really look at your product. Are you getting a ton of good feedback from customers? Are you getting people that are saying, man, I love this thing, and they're repeat ordering over and over again? If they're not, then it's probably a product issue, and you really need to start to trench down and say, do I believe that this is the right direction product wise? And if it's not, now you make the necessary adjustments, you make the necessary pivots, right? You make the necessary improvements to actually get that thing to be better. And if it is, then great. Maybe you've already got this done, check the box, move on, go watch the next video. But ultimately, I think anybody at any time has room to grow and improve in their belief in their product. Okay. Now, what I would say with that, and how I would encourage you to build that belief in your product, is to truly understand your product. So some of you founders that are listening to this right now, you operate from a distance and you don't actually understand what's going on in your business, right? And I'm saying that with love. I'm saying that with compassion. I'm saying that as someone who's been there before, where I've been a little bit disconnected early on as I was learning in my entrepreneurial journey. I would bring someone on and suddenly we would just start to, let that person roll, and we wouldn't really be in there for the sake of not micromanaging, but ultimately you still have to be connected to what you're doing. You got to be connected to the pulse of your business. You have to understand how people are interacting with the things that you're selling, and the way that you're servicing and all that kind of stuff. All those components matter. And so ultimately, to build belief in your product and your service, you need to have better optics in your product and your service. So what I want to encourage you to do is analyze where your products and services are. So if let's say you sell a direct to consumer good, some kind of product, a physical product, it might even be a digital product, right? Depending on what you're doing. Analyze how that's performing. Is it performing well? Start to break down that data. Why is it performing well? Why is it not performing well? What's happening somewhere in that process that's leading to either people buying it again or not buying it again? And ultimately, when you can do that with an impartial lens, and I'm saying this, you need to be your biggest, and I'm going to balance this as well. You need to be your biggest critic, right? We've also talked about you need to be your biggest cheerleader. So you need to kind of cover the full compass for yourself and make sure that you're looking at every single part impartially. Now, the reason that you do that is because if you're not looking at your business honestly, and you're saying, oh, everything's good, we're doing great, I'm making maybe a couple $100,000 a year as an entrepreneur, obviously you're doing well, right? Most people in America, and even in other countries in the world, right? America gets paid more than a lot of other countries in the entire world. And so if you're making a couple $100,000 a year, you're doing awesome. But if you're trying to get to that next threshold of making, 7 figures in your business to where you can get the profitability up to where you can increase your owner salary, right? Or your owner distributions that you're taking, ultimately, you have to be willing to look at your business with impartiality and saying, hey, this is either working or it's not. If it's not working, I need to change it. If it's not, or if it is, great. We don't maybe need to change as much there. And so ultimately, looking at it from an impartial perspective allows you to actually make the changes that you need to develop the belief a little bit further as an entrepreneur. And so if you realize that there are some things that need to be adjusted, adjust them as quick as you possibly can. That's one thing I always say. Don't delay and say, hey, eventually this will just get better. Because if it's not working and the market is signaling to you right now that something's not working, trust it. Okay, trust it. Now, I'm not saying that you need to go uproot your whole business and all that, but I'm saying make the adjustments in your business that you need to as quick as you possibly can so that you can get on the right trajectory faster. Okay, the faster you get on the right trajectory, the faster you get in the 9% and out of the 91%. Now, as I've said before in this series, I would never tell you to do something that I either haven't done or that I wouldn't be willing to do myself in my own journey, right? I'm on a journey too, just like you. Our company, we're aiming to get to 9 figures in revenue, right? That's what we're trying to get to. And so ultimately, there's a lot of things that we've got to grow toward to be able to do that. Now, I want to give an example. Over the past 2 years, we've invested multiple 600 figures in our primary business into improving our product and our service, right? We've got a few different ways that we specifically, have products that we sell and ways that we service our customers. And ultimately, I took a really hard look at how the things that we had in place previously were functioning. there were some big holes that I saw, some big opportunities for us to gain, some market credibility, some market. I don't even know what my brain's moving too fast right now. We had some great opportunity to move forward in what we were doing. I'll just say it like that. And ultimately, we believed in the product enough to take the risk and say, hey, it's going to take us a little bit of time to recoup that money, right? And let's go for it anyways. Let's take the chance. Let's take the risk. And with our partner team, we were like, hey, let's go for this thing. We believe in the impact that we can have on the industry. We believed in the products and the services that we were building and that we were offering. And so what I'm going to challenge you with today is to take those same risks as is appropriate for you. I'm not saying for you to go, spend $200,000-$300,000 to improve your product if your profit was, 20,000 last year, right? That's not what I'm suggesting that you do, but I'm saying look at where you want to go, look at the speed that you want to get there, and make the adjustments that you need to actually go that direction. And so ultimately, we all do this. It doesn't matter what stage of entrepreneur you are. It doesn't matter if you just started your company yesterday. It doesn't matter if you're already doing multi-billions a year. None of that matters. Refining and believing in your products and services is a key component to actually being able to elevate your skills, elevate your revenue as a company. Okay, so as we're expanding, as we're moving forward in the series, now you have got that belief in yourself. You've got that belief after you go through and you do some reflection today on how to actually believe in your product and your service. And over the next couple of days, we're going to start getting into a lot more details on some practicals that you can do to be able to get that business from wherever you're at right now, whether it's 100,000, 200, 500, 750, 999, right? We're going to get you past that $1 million threshold. I don't care if you're a SaaS company. I don't care if you are a mom and pop shop in the middle of a small town in some random place in the United States, right? It doesn't matter. If you have enough market exposure and you have a good product and a good service and you have good belief in yourself as an entrepreneur, there is always opportunity to grow something of impact. So look forward to continuing on this journey with you. We'll see you in the next one.